There's a cost with being a Shandy.
Yeah. Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
Doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good to hear.
You. Yes. We have a caller today. It's been a minute since we've recorded callers.
It has been.
And we're trying a new thing now where they're shorter.
Tight.
Yes, tight, because people have complained.
Yes, lots of complaints.
They're like, too much chatting, more questions, more answers.
Yeah, we've listened to the Shandies.
And our caller today is Allie. Allie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
Hey,
Allie.
thank you for having me.
Everyone's like judging her sound now.
Yeah.
Allie, do you mind giving us your age, your city or region, whatever you're comfortable sharing, the ages of anyone in question, and your story, please?
Yeah, so I am a 25-year-old female. I live in a city in the Midwest, and people in question, well, there's multiple people in this group, but like the key players are both 25-year-old male, and my husband, who's briefly mentioned, is also a 25-year-old male.
Okay.
So my dilemma. So I have this friend group I've been a part of for about like 10 years at this point. We all worked together in high school and then kind of like maintain contact through a group me just over the years, just sporadically as we've gotten older and moved away and started our lives and all those things. But recently, with the 10-year mark coming up, they want to have a reunion. So they have been trying their best to plan a reunion. The problem is none of them are planners. And I am a great planner. So they've been going round and round. They've been going round and round for months trying to plan this thing. And I finally just got irritated one day and I started just planning the whole thing for them, like coming up with places, times, locations. What are we going to do? And the other problem is I was not going to go to this reunion. My biggest, like closest contacts in the group when I was in like high school, early college, one of them was my like ex-boyfriend. He was like that first love kind of guy. We were together for 2.5 years. It's really bad breakup. And we got to like okay terms for the friend group. And we're like cool with each other, but we're not buddy. Obviously, we haven't talked in a really long time. We will call him Simon. What came to mind.
She said with disdain.
Simon.
After Simon and I broke up, there's this other guy, Peter, and he was also part of the friend group and had been like pining for me long before like Simon and I had even started dating. And he was really there for me. And I ended up kind of using him as a rebound. And we've since like talked about that and I've apologized to him for that and just admitted that that was a really crappy thing for me to do. But obviously like that really damaged our friendship and we don't really talk anymore unless it's, you know, occasionally through this big group chat of us. And since then, like I've gotten married. I'm really happy with my husband. Like we're doing great. But I've slowly kind of like scaled back my communication with this friend group. And then like a few months ago, we had this Zoom call where we all like got together and just kind of talked and it was just really uncomfortable. And I just finally had that moment of fully realizing like, oh, I'm really not a piece of this group anymore. And like, that was a consequence of my own actions. Like I take response. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. When you say you felt that way, was it because of something that happened? Like what specifically made you feel that way?
Well, particularly not so much with Simon, but with Peter, I was like, well, I wasn't the one that was very careful, like knowing how he felt about me and then using him as a rebound. And like, they are just a lot tighter with some other people in the group. Like, you know, when you're friends with somebody and then you kind of meet friends through them and you're all kind of friends by association.
Yes.
That makes sense. So like after that, maybe a part of it is me. Like I just felt uncomfortable around some of those people because I knew that they were really good friends with Peter and probably knew that I had hurt him in that way. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Sure. But did anything happen specifically that you felt shone a light, as Andy would say, shined a light on that? Or do you think it's your own guilt talking?
Honestly, it could be a little bit of both. I'm somebody that I'll take accountability for my actions, but I feel like I also have to punish myself sometimes, just like a little bit.
I'm getting that impression.
But also it was just like the meeting itself when we were all talking was just like really uncomfortable. Like they were all kind of talking among each other and I would try to like kind of get in and talk and it would be like, okay, we'll acknowledge you for a couple of seconds and then we're kind of going back to our thing. And they like ask each other questions, but like didn't like really direct any questions at me.
So
But
this
maybe I'm
was
making it
via
up in my head.
Zoom. This is Zoom,
Yeah.
right? How many
Yeah.
people via Zoom?
There were like 5 or 6 of us, I think.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, right. Zoom alone.
Well,
just
no,
regardless,
we
is not fun.
recently were talking about large Zoom hangs.
Large Zooms are terrible.
How that was like one of the worst things
Yeah,
about
anything
lockdown.
more than 3 people on Zoom becomes a
Honestly,
problem.
I think anything more than 2.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to say it.
or 1. Yeah, I'd like to keep it to under 1. Anyway,
Okay.
my question to you is, do you need these people in your life in any way?
I don't think so. I like that sounds terrible, but you know, I've
No, it
slowly
doesn't.
I've been scaling back over like the last few years, and not even intentionally, our lives have just gone in other directions. So I kind of hit that point where I was like, hey, I'm, and a lot of it is location too. Like, hey, I'm living here. I kind of have my friends here where I live, and I'm doing my own thing, and you guys have your friends where you live, and you're doing your own thing. Like, just that slow, like that natural, just diverging of paths.
Which happens, by the way, in your 20s.
Yeah.
Like 25, you're right on
30s,
schedule.
And 30s.
Oh, what I've been saying is like, this is when it really
Really
starts.
happens,
Because
yeah.
when you first go to college, you know, some people might go to town, some people
Yeah.
stay together, but now is when you really start to see it happen.
Absolutely.
Okay. Did we let you finish the actual story?
What did you have? What is the question?
Yeah, well, I want her
Yeah.
to finish the story in case there was more. So since
Is there
the
is
Zoom
there
call-
more, or is it question?
Oh no, I was just going to ask the question now.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So my question is, I am actively planning this reunion. Should I go to that reunion even though I'm planning it? And if I don't, how do I handle that? Because I don't think like these people are they're all wonderful people, and I do think they would ask me like, "Hey, you planned this thing, like why didn't you come?"
How effortful would it be for you to go from a logistics standpoint?
It's not super hard. It's like a 3-hour drive from where I live now, which I mean, I make all the time because my family lives there and stuff like that. So I go back home to see them from time to time. The other thing is like, I can't use, I have a job where I work on weekends. So I can usually be like, oh, I have to work X weekend or whatever. But it's in October, and they intentionally started talking about it in January so that everybody could find an open weekend to go.
This is what I'm going to say.
I have a strong opinion. I'm very curious what
isn't-
you're going to say.
Honestly, I think it doesn't matter what you do here. Your life's not going to be altered meaningfully.
I agree.
It's really about you and what you want to do, and you know, the discomfort you're comfortable with. I think that if you don't go, you're going to make a bigger issue than if you do go. So if you don't go, there's going to be people talking about it. And if you're cool with that, then don't go. But if you're not cool with that, then I would just go. You might have a good time. You might even like patch over some stuff that either was there or wasn't even there in the first place. It was in your mind. So my opinion is it's close to a coin toss, but I think you should just go to avoid the gossip and the annoying issues that may arise from your absence.
Okay, so I feel very strongly about my opinion, and I want to preface my opinion by saying that I am all about, I don't want to say cutting out people out of your life that you don't think serve you anymore, or like relationships you have outgrown. So like, I'm all about that. So I don't want my answer to suggest that I think you should cling on to these friendships because of the history. But I very strongly think you should go to this. I think Andy, of course, what Andy's saying is true, but I don't even think it's as sinister as he's making it sound. Like, I don't think that they're necessarily going to talk about you.
They will.
I don't think
they
so.
will.
I think
Like, why
that
didn't she come?
She
She
is
organized
viewing
the
so
thing.
much of this friend circle through a lens of guilt about how she treated Peter, how close they are with Peter, what she did. That was, I mean, we're talking almost a decade ago for a lot of this. I just don't think that you are taking up as much negative space in a lot of these people's minds as you think.
I agree with that.
And I think that it's partly because you still feel shitty about it.
Yeah. I think you even said it yourself. You're a person who takes on guilt.
Yeah.
And just every time I have to sit myself down and remind myself that people don't care about you as much as you think they do.
Which is very freeing, actually.
Yeah, it's good and bad, but mostly good, because like if I have an interaction with someone in the street I haven't seen in a while and I leave and I come home and I'm like, I said all the wrong things. Like I was awkward. I was weird. Like they're not going home that night and being like, man, that thing with Andy was really weird. I think he's a piece of shit. They don't care. They forgot about it probably 5 minutes after we stopped talking. So I think you really need to take the weight off of how much you think these people care or thinking about what happened back in the day. Just go to this thing and clear your mind. That way you can go and see it. Best keep your enemies close, that whole thing. So just go, see what's going on. You'll see this monster that you've made in your head, and it probably won't be anything.
Yes. And I also feel in person is when she can really get a feel for things, like a lay of the land. Because I do not think a Zoom call with 5 or 6 people properly represents where you rank, how these people feel about you. I understand some of them are closer with each other than you. And I feel awkward in a 5-6 person Zoom with some of my closest friends. I hate it. I hate group texts, like where it's, I don't like feeling the attention's on me, but at the same time, I don't want to feel like people don't care about me or like I'm not there. Well, right. It's just like, it brings out a side of you that I think doesn't represent real life with these people. And I think if you went in person, I hope that you get that you're like, oh, actually it's tense in person too, because then you can really be like, oh, I am set free. Yep. Like, this is what I thought it was. I was right all along. I don't need this in my life, this negativity. I set myself free from the guilt. I'm moving on. But right now I feel like you would, to not go to this reunion, having planned it, you would be cutting them out of your life based on what mainly an assumption, right, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a win-win if you go.
Yes.
You may have a great time.
Yeah.
Which is always good.
Yeah.
You may have a whatever time. At least you're not having people saying like, why wasn't she here? What's going on with that? That's weird. But that's secondary. Or you may go and suddenly you're going to be like, oh, we're actually friends and I like these people and we're going to stay in touch and these people are going to make my life better.
Or she goes and she's like, actually, these people are not my friends. And now I officially know.
Exactly. There's no downside to any of this. The only downside is if you like blow a tire on the way there and you're stuck on the side of the road.
I feel strongly that you going to this reunion is important for you, for your own, for getting over what you did.
Yeah.
Which I don't, frankly, a lot of people have done what you did to Peter. I'm not saying that it's the right thing to do.
Most people don't feel bad about it either.
I have done it. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. No. I just don't think that you should still be punishing yourself almost a decade later. Yeah. I guarantee you he is stronger for it and he's doing just fine.
Yeah. I think you're an overthinker, which is sometimes nice,
She's
but
nodding.
Often not good. And this is one of those situations where don't overthink. Just do it, go and learn from it and benefit. 100% go to the thing.
Yeah, this will clear your conscience.
Yeah.
Because if you feel like you're still being punished after all this time and it's not just in your head, then 100% you have the Dear Shandy stamp of approval to cut this friend circle out of your life.
Yes.
But don't do it based on an assumption. Is this what you're expecting us? Sorry?
I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I was just sitting here with a bunch of question marks, like running through. I mean, I am an overthinker, so I'm like running through all the options in my head. Like, well, if I go and then do I bring my husband? And if I bring him, like, will that be weird? But if I don't bring him, will it also be weird? And like,
oh my God, bring him. Why not? Are other people bringing their significant others?
Some of them are and some of them aren't. It's kind of 50-50.
It's a 3-hour drive. Yeah. You're a little
it could be support
apprehensive.
For you. Yeah, if it gets a little weird, he could be there as support. So, even more security. But
I think you should bring him. Just, make it as fun as it can be. If you think you'll have a fun time with him there, you'll have someone in your corner. Why not? And if he can't make it, then go alone.
Yeah.
I have a strong opinion on this one.
Yeah. In life, often the uncomfortable choice is the right one. Yeah. Not always, but in this situation, I think it is.
It is interesting that your planning abilities has put you in this pickle. Yeah. But I think it's actually, I think it's good though, because I think had you not planned it, I think you would have just slinked off into the shadows and not shown your face again. And I don't know if that would have been the best choice for growth.
Yeah, or clarity.
Mm-hmm.
You guys make it sound so easy. And, like once you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, this like totally checks out. Why didn't I think of this?
You often need distance. We have the benefit of not being in the story.
Distance. And we have the benefit of calling into podcast.
Yes, she called into a podcast. It's so telling, that you called in about this.
Yeah. 90% of the time when people call in, they know the answer and they just want us to tell them. So we're just telling you the answer that you knew.
Have more self-empathy.
Yeah.
More empathy for yourself for what you did when you were basically a child, when you were rebounding, what you were going through. You are not a bad person. It's okay.
Yeah.
I feel you.
This is totally true. Everything she's saying is true.
Yeah. To me, that's the core thing here. And I feel like she's running from her guilt.
You exude a good person.
Yes, I agree. Before we got rolling, she was telling us about the video game she uses her headset for.
Yeah.
And it involves, what was it?
Stardew Valley. It's a farm sim.
What kind of bad person plays a farm sim?
Thank you.
Yes. Andy was like, there's no killing, right? And she was like, only monsters.
Yeah. What monsters go to a farm?
Well, they're in the caves. You have to go to the caves to get the resources. So you have to go to the monsters to get the resources.
So the monsters aren't really bothering you. You have to go to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Wait, so you're going to the monsters' turf to take their resources and killing them?
That's not very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I have to rethink
sound
this
like
whole answer.
A terrible
maybe
person.
You're the monster.
I'm the monster to them. So.
Yes. Yeah, you are.
Doesn't seem like they've done anything wrong.
Allie, is there anything else you want to ask us while you have us?
No, I don't think so. I just feel really 25, but I appreciate your answer.
25, like 25 years old?
Yeah, I don't know. Like 25 is just it's still pretty like young, on the younger side of things. And even as I was talking, I was like, wow, this just feels 25. And like,
but how wonderful.
Yeah, you're on the cusp. You're on the cusp, and you're so self-aware that you're experiencing the transition into full adulthood.
Seriously, she's telling her story, and she's like, here's herself, and she's like, oh my God, I sound 25.
Yeah, you're able to narrate your own transition. This is very, very rare.
I'm a well-studied Shandy.
You are. And I mean, I think that
tell.
perfectly illustrates perhaps how you might overthink things.
Yeah.
Totally.
And maybe, I think, criticize yourself a little too much.
Yeah, there's a cost with being a Shandy.
Yeah. Enjoy being 25.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will.
I mean, that's the age everyone wants to be.
And I appreciate this predicament. I think it's very relatable.
Yeah, definitely.
I think to me, the kernel at the core of this is the guilt. And I think that that's super relatable.
Yeah.
And I don't think any decisions should be made from that place.
Totally. Easy one. This is easy.
Yeah. From our perspective, easy.
Yep.
Happy to make it easy for you.
Thanks, Allie. Well, thank you so much for being such a well-studied Shandy and for calling in today and sharing your story.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Just when you think you're alone in the shower, pros knows.
That's scary.
It's too much.
It sounds like one of those Halloween songs. But seriously, just when you think you're alone in the shower, Pros does know. They know your hair better than you know your hair. Look at me. This is my personal routine. The custom pre-shampoo mask, my smooth and vibrant shampoo, also says Charlene on it. My anti-brassiness volume building conditioner. And possibly my favorite Pros product of all, the Oil Control Scalp Health Dry Shampoo, non-aerosol. I used it this morning. I used it yesterday morning. I showered the day before. So yeah, this is all just Pros dry shampoo right
And
now.
look at that hair.
Well, I mean, normally by day 3, my hair is not looking so clean anymore. My hair likes to get greasy. And Pros, let's talk about why Pros is so special. Because look, it has my name on it and people are like, okay, what's the big deal? No, it's so much more than that because it is custom, bespoke hair care. You fill out their online hair consultation where you describe your hair really in depth. It is quite in depth. And then they make this fantastic hair line for you basically with your name on it. And my hair has never been happier.
We've said this before, but your scalp and your hair is a complicated place.
Yes.
It's not just like your arm skin.
No.
There's a lot going on up there. And why would you just get an off-the-rack solution for your scalp and your hair? You get things that are bespoke to you for lesser complicated things.
100%. The scalp when we talk about the scalp, I mean, look, scalp is coming up in half of these products for me because my scalp skin is not like the rest of my skin. That's just the truth.
No, I don't even count scalp skin as skin.
What is it, Andy?
It's a problem. And Prose isn't just better for you, it's better for the planet.
They're a certified B Corp, cruelty-free, and the first and only custom beauty brand to go carbon neutral.
So Prose is so confident that you'll bring out your best hair and skin.
They're offering an exclusive trial offer of 50% off your first subscription order when you go to prose.com/dearshandy.
So get your free consultation and 50% off at prose.com/dearshandy.
That's prose.com/dearshandy. Well, you look awfully nice, Andy.
Why, thank you.
You look like you, but somehow put together.
Well, what this is this is an elevated version of my usual self. And I wear this shirt when I say, you know what? I want to go white V, but I don't want to look like a white V guy.
Yes.
I want to look like a little more of a gentleman.
Yeah, a little more elevated, a little more like respectable.
Put together. Oh, respectable? Was that where you're going?
So right now, Andy is wearing his Quince commuter stretch peak short sleeve button down. I mean, look at how this fits you. It also feels so light. There's a reason I ordered this shirt for you. I also got it for you in black. You would never guess that shirt was... Okay. Actually, do you actually know what it cost?
I don't.
Do you want to do a guessing game?
The problem is I know that Quince has great prices.
Yes.
So I'm going to guess low.
Okay. Well, it is very
Okay. I'm going to
reasonable.
guess. Can I guess?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to guess $60.
What if you slash that price in half, Andy?
In half? No.
In half.
No.
$29.90 for this shirt.
What
Look
are they, idiot? Are they stupid over there? Guys, come on. The business is supposed to make money.
So Quince, what they do is they cut out the middleman. They cut out that brand name. You're often paying a huge premium for whatever brand name label is on a shirt. They partner directly with the factories and then pass on those savings to you. We're talking up to 80% off what you would normally pay for this type of quality. And let me quickly talk about my handbag because I feel like people have this impression of Quince as being just clothing, but I have recently delved into their other things. They have great slippers, they have handbags, they have accessories, they have jewelry. This handbag, it's my new convertible purse, okay? It can go on my shoulder, it can go as a crossbody. This is real leather, by the way, and with a bag like this, you would normally be paying somewhere north of, I was gonna say anywhere from like $300 to $1,000, depending on the name brand. $119.90, $120 for a fantastic handbag that you wear all the time and that's so durable and goes with everything.
I'm really concerned for them now. I'm going to have to call them. This can't go on like this. So pack your bags with high quality essentials from Quince.
Go to quince.com/shandy for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/Shandy to get free shipping and 365-day returns.
How funny is it? When she was like, oh, this is so 25. I was like, what do you mean? And it didn't even occur to me at first. I had to like process what she'd said. And she meant her age. That to me says so much about her thought process and only makes me feel more firmly that she should go to this reunion.
She is observing her life every step of the way.
Yes. And I think being extremely self-critical, even to be like, oh, this is so 25, like it's diminishing.
Yeah. When I was
her
25,
experience.
I thought I was like over the hill. Like I thought I knew everything. The next step was the grave.
Yeah. I remember thinking, oh, 30, that's it.
Oh, that's it. It's over.
It's over.
Yeah, I'll just crawl into a cave somewhere.
Yeah. No, it really says so much that is something that crossed her mind while she was telling the story that she wrote into a podcast to ask about.
Yeah.
She was, I think she was being self-critical, and I think she's being self-critical about how she hurt Peter all those years ago. To me, look, I'm not going to say she did the right thing. That's not what I'm suggesting. But how long are you going to punish yourself for? You know, they say the only way out is through. In this case, that's not necessarily true. She could escape by just never talking to these people again. But I think it would always have a dark place in her heart. I know that sounds
And I don't think it's her to do that.
I agree.
Yeah, her path is to go to the party. She's an inquisitor. She wants to find out. She wants to discover.
Yes,
she
she's
wants to
curious.
know everything.
Yeah.
And she'll know when she goes.
I think she'll know in person. I think it'll be great if she has her husband there, just, you know, to have a little moral support.
Sure, or not.
I don't think it's
maybe she'll
necessary.
be a little more vulnerable without him, and that might be good. But it doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters either way. I just think if it would make it better for her, that she should bring
Why
him.
not?
But I guarantee you that at most, maybe one good friend of Peter's like really helped him nurse his wounds at the time, and always has, at worst, that person's probably like, oh, that Allie.
I agree.
But like, okay, then that person has their own issues if they can't get over it. Like, I'm sorry.
But also, I'll tell you something about reunions. Everyone at reunions is nice.
Really?
Yeah. No one starts trouble at reunions.
I've never been to a reunion.
Oh, really?
It's actually sad. I would
been to
totally
so
go.
many. Why
I never
would-
get it. Like, if they ever happen, I never hear about them.
Oh, come on. You
No,
just
I'm
probably
se-
missed the email or something.
No, I think we just don't have like an organizer planner in my
that's
year.
sad.
It is sad. I would totally go.
Oh, I have one of my college reunions coming up. If you want to come. in
I love
June.
going to.
You want to come?
I love the
I don't
idea
really
of
want to
reunions.
go, but if you want to come with me, I'll go.
Oh, really?
I went to the last one.
I went
I
to.
feel like, how many reunions can you go to, really? At the same school? I've gone to a few. I've gone to like 4 reunions at the same school.
I don't know if I see the harm in going.
Yeah. Want to do it?
Yes,
You do?
I do want to do
All
it.
right.
I just think I don't know. It's like reading over old journal entries. You know, it's. You get to go and you learn about yourself. You learn about these people who, in some small way, shaped who you've become. What else are you going to do that weekend?
Yeah.
Eat
no,
out?
I agree. Now you've
Order
convinced me to go to
Domino's?
my own reunion. I'm going.
Good.
Reunion.
What?
Reunion. Reunion.
Oh, is it starting to lose?
Yeah, it's losing
meaning?
it for me.
Reunion.
But
I'm sad. I want to go to a reunion.
Okay, well-
Someone, does anyone from my high school listen
Someone
to this?
invite her to a
Yeah,
reunion.
seriously. I want to be invited to a reunion. Like no one, if
maybe you did too many rebounds.
I'm not invited because they're all talking about me. Maybe I should have a little more guilt.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I didn't do that actually.
Okay. You were good. You were good back then.
I mean,
You're still good. I'm just saying, you've always been good. You've been an angel
look,
your whole life.
I will not act like I've been a saint my whole life, but I don't feel like I have enemies.
You were student council president. Do you think they're not going to invite you to the reunion?
That's why I'd like to think that there aren't any, but maybe
You're
I don't.
student council president.
I was.
2 years in a row.
No, not 2 years in a row.
1 year in a row.
Okay, so anything else you want to add to this one?
No, it's easy. She's sweet. She's a real Shandy. That is
Yes.
100% Shandy.
Yes. And I also, it's sweet when, like to us, it was so clear. I find it very endearing when someone in her position can be like, oh, wow, like it's so, like, now that I see it from that perspective, I see it clearly too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like she's not like, oh, but this, but that, but this, but that, but you have that detail wrong. And that's not to suggest that I think we always have it right and they shouldn't say that. It's more that I felt she came into this with one idea of how she felt about the situation, and she allowed us to change her mind.
Yeah.
And that's really powerful. And I think that it's a really great trait to have, especially as young as 25, when a lot of 25-year-olds think that they know everything.
You know what she knew? She knew there was a correct answer to this question, but she was willing to say, I don't know what the answer is. Is this decision going to shape her life? Most
No.
likely not. But it's a microcosm. This is a training exercise
Yes,
for life.
totally.
This is just like, do the thing that's a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
Not a bad thing that's obviously bad that's uncomfortable. It's going to be a negative experience in your life.
Yeah.
But do the thing that's uncomfortable. That doesn't mean hang out with people you don't want to hang out
Yeah.
with. People you don't like. People who are not nice to you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really don't know, you're not sure, and you've got these ideas in your head about what's going on, dispel that. Just go and find out for yourself.
Totally.
Do the investigation.
And a Zoom call.
Zoom, forget
Oh.
about it. I don't like anyone I've been on a Zoom with.
Seriously, I'm talking during the pandemic, I would do Zoom hangouts, like happy hour hangouts with my closest friends. And I love all of these girls individually and as a group in person. On Zoom, it doesn't work. It becomes like one at a time. Now it's your turn. Share what's gone on in your life. And it just feels performative. It just doesn't feel right.
No, it's wrong.
It's not. So that's what people I love. Imagine if you go into it with a little bit of tension, a little bit of fear that they're judging you. Like I can see how you could interpret a lot of things unfavorably in Zoom.
You know what? The whole internet is basically saying to us, look, we figured out a way to do life without having to leave your computer. And it's just the same, but it's not.
It's not.
It never is.
No.
Yes, you can see pictures. You can see moving pictures. You can see an actual film of some human on your screen, but it is nothing like being in person.
I agree. And also, there's something about the effort it takes to go in person to meet someone, even if it's just going across the street. It's not the same as like putting on a proper shirt in your living room.
Yeah, I haven't
pressing
worn,
a button.
I haven't worn pants for a Zoom ever since Zoom was invented. Never. I do it out of. I actually do it out of spite for Zoom. I say I won't wear pants, even if I want to wear pants. I don't wear pants.
And I think making that effort to see people in person shows a level of respect and consideration. It's a good thing to do. I'm sorry, I do think
you got to smell them. You got to see. You got to see the little details of life. That's why humans were born into a non-internet world.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's maybe circular reasoning, but you get the point.
Okay, Andy, I think we answered that one. We have another caller now. Ooh. Our caller today, who we have actually met in person before.
Totally randomly in the mountains of Switzerland.
Yes. Mürren?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Yes.
Yes,
This caller, I'm referring to her like we've already introduced her, Kat, actually recognized us when we were in Switzerland, and it was one of the most exciting recognizings we've ever had.
Yes, we even talked about it in our recap episode.
Yeah,
our,
the anniversary, third year anniversary. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today, and for being a Shandy.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
So give us your story, your age, the age of, I think, the person in question.
So I am 24. The person in question is my aunt. She is around 48. And we are in upstate New York. So I recently got married in October. We have been together for 5 years and our engagement was only 4 months. We decided to do a small ceremony in Central Park with just our siblings, our parents, and 2 friends. And then we flew to Italy the same night with our photographers to record our vows in Italy to make a mini movie of our wedding weekend in place of a large wedding.
Wow, that's cool. Cool. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, living their life.
Seriously.
So a lot of that was due to watching what my sister went through during her wedding. My sister, she's 21. She got married before me. She dealt with quite a bit of family drama. She handled it with so much grace. And I knew that if I was in her situation, I likely would have cut some people out of my life. I probably would have turned into a bridezilla. I just did not want to put myself in that predicament. So we ended up with this elopement idea. And my husband also wanted a small ceremony. So it was pretty much perfect. My husband proposed a week before my sister's wedding, which was not probably the best timing, but she was fully on board with it. She helped pick out the ring. She planned the proposal. She recorded the whole proposal. So that day, I told all my closest friends and family members that didn't know that I was engaged prior to posting on social media. So no one would find out through social media. I got tons of congratulations from everyone except for the one aunt who I am very close with. The day of the proposal, I was actually at her house. My my husband and my sister, my brother-in-law kidnapped me from her house to take me to the location that they picked for the proposal. And my dad was also at my aunt's house at the time. So he told them what was going on. She was aware of what was happening, that I was getting engaged. So that's basically why I didn't tell her. She already knew. I just felt like it was a little bit weird to say, hey, I know you already know, but I'm engaged. I just kind of felt like it was bragging a little bit. So I just didn't ever say it specifically to her because she already knew. I didn't get a congratulations from her until 2 weeks after the proposal. And it happened to be a couple days before we had a weekend trip planned together. So it just kind of seemed that the congratulations was to make the weekend trip less awkward. We hadn't talked at all after that proposal, which we are very close. Our families see each other all the time. She, just for comparison, when my sister got engaged, she came to the house literally crying. She posted on Facebook. She helped me plan and fund the bridal shower. She was very involved in the wedding process. I thought that maybe she never showed interest in mine was because the family drama that went down during my sister's wedding, she was a part of, and I didn't agree with how she went about things, and I told her that. I also thought maybe it was because I didn't specifically tell her that I was engaged. I just wasn't really sure what happened, but the months leading up to the wedding, she never once asked a question. She never said anything about the entire planning process. She was the only family member that still to this day has not said congratulations. She's the only family member that hasn't given us a gift, which I don't want it to be about that, but she did gift my sister a very large amount of money. But it was more so just no conversation about it at all. Never, still to this day, hasn't asked about how the honeymoon was. Even her daughters, so my cousins, asked me about it, and she was right there. She had no part in that. I still see her very frequently. Our relationship definitely feels different to me. It's been 6 months, almost 6 months, and I obviously am still thinking about it. I wrote in about it. I try to distance myself a little bit and just keep conversation, surface level topics, and I just kind of feel awkward around her now. So I guess my main question is, am I in the wrong for how I went about this entire situation? And if so, how should I go about a conversation with her? Should I have a conversation with her to begin with, even if I'm not in the wrong? Or should I just let all of this go and finally just move on?
Spaces can have many shapes, but if the space is square, go square space.
I liked that one.
Yeah?
Because you're right. Spaces can have many shapes.
They can.
It's true. And if you think about it, we're all spending much of our lives looking into a square space.
Yeah, we
right?
are.
Our
Absolutely.
phones, our computers, our tablets. And if we're all spending so much time on our square spaces, then we should also represent ourselves and what we do. We should express ourselves in that square space as well. Should we not?
I'm not disagreeing with you. Let's take it easy. And now if you're not using Squarespace, you are creating an uneven playing field for yourself because all your peers, all your neighbors, everyone you say hi to in the street is going to be having that sweet ass website. And what are you going to have?
There's a reason Squarespace has become the destination for building a beautiful website with little to no design experience. And that's because Squarespace has gorgeous templates to choose from. They really hold your hand. They even help you select the template based on what your website will be. And then from there, you plug and play your information, your photography, your imagery. And they even help you narrow down how bespoke it can be with special font packs, like different fonts that go together. They'll make suggestions and color schemes. That is so helpful for people who really don't know where to start. And then from there, all these features to really make your website do what it's meant to do. So let's say you are providing a service. Squarespace has scheduling where you can be booked through the website. They have e-commerce. You can sell product through the website. They do payment plans, mailing lists, blogs, all sorts of galleries. So no matter what purpose your website is designed to serve, it will serve it.
Damn. I mean, what else is there to say?
Sweet ass Squarespace.
Yeah. So head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Again, that's squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So Andy, I, in my hands, have our Earth Breeze laundry detergent.
You sure do.
This was just in my hands last night because I was just doing laundry last night. And you know what? I was thinking for the millionth time, what a great invention is this?
Yeah. How many packages of 60 loads of laundry detergent can you hold between your pinky and your ring finger with ease?
Right.
By the way, I'm not pinching it. I'm holding it with the back of my pinky. There's no strength there.
We're, of course, talking about Earth Breeze Eco Sheets. This is laundry detergent, no water. See how light and portable laundry detergent can be if you eliminate all the water, all the plastic, all the big plastic jugs that you're so used to. And that I will admit I was used to before Earth Breeze came along. We were totally using big plastic jugs.
Look, there's a time and a place for big jugs. Laundry is not it. I'm going to keep hitting that one.
You just can't resist.
I mean, it's sitting there.
So Earthbreeze Eco Sheets, let's say you're looking at this and you're like, there's no way that works as well as the detergent I'm used to using. I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Sorry. But isn't being wrong good? Doesn't it feel good to be wrong once in a while?
Yeah.
This cleans every bit as well as any laundry detergent I've ever used. It is safe for sensitive skin. It is fragrance free. I love this. You can adjust the amount. Look, I'm ripping it based on the size of the load.
And there's one other thing I want to mention. If you have kids, very small children or babies in the house, would babies be interested in possibly getting into a jug of laundry detergent? Yes. Would babies be interested in possibly putting a pod in their mouth? Yes. Would babies be interested in a white nothing sheet of paper?
I mean, this is all very true. And I have to add too, when I think of babies, like a household of bodies who are, secreting and excreting things.
That's what we do.
A lot of things coming out of the body. You need to wash it. Like the amount of loads you get out of one envelope of Earthbreeze. Also, if you're the type of person that needs to go to the laundromat physically, do you know how much lighter this is to carry along with you than one of those big plastic jugs?
I want someone to think of an argument why you shouldn't use this.
Habit. That's the only reason I can think of. And that's not a good reason.
Or you're a terrible person.
That's also a possibility.
So right now, our Shandies can save 40% off Earthbreeze by going to earthbreeze.com/Shandy.
That's earthbreeze.com/Shandy to cut out single-use plastic in your laundry room and get 40% off your subscription.
earthbreeze.com/Shandy.
Should I just let all of this go and finally just move on?
So to be clear, you never went to her specifically, your aunt specifically, and said we're engaged, or you never had a conversation with her one-on-one that might bring about said congratulations?
No. So the night that we got engaged, I had to actually call her because I left something at her house because I was taken from her house. When I called her, I was kind of expecting her to just be excited. And so I asked her my question, she answered, and then that was that. So I was just kind of caught off guard. I went to my dad right after and I just asked, I was like, did you tell her that we were engaged? She's like, yeah, of course. Like, oh, okay. Well, that's kind of weird that when I called her, she didn't even answer the phone with excitement. So no, there was never a specific, like a one-on-one conversation. All I know is that she knew.
Do you have thoughts, Andy?
How close are you with your aunt?
She says pretty close.
Yes, we are very close. We were actually in Switzerland together. That's why I was on that trip.
What? Seriously? Your aunt was there? Oh, that's okay. I have thoughts on this. Does your aunt have a history of needing attention? Not necessarily in a negative way. Okay, yeah. You're smiling like maybe, possibly, kind of, sort of.
I don't know how to answer that, really. I don't know. I would say she would like things her way, if that makes sense.
So what I'm hearing from your story, and of course it's impossible to know, it sounds like, there's obviously another side to the story. I suspect there is some sort of tension if you feel it. Mm-hmm. It sounds like you really feel it, you really notice it.
Yeah.
I just wonder if she's the type of person, and a lot of people are like this actually, where she feels close enough with you that she would want the sit down, like, hey, aunt so-and-so, like, I'm engaged and this is what's going on. It's like, even though she might have been told by other people and you were kidnapped from her house or whatever, she played a role in it, she still wants to feel like a major enough player who deserves one-on-one time and one-on-one time sharing of the information, and thus the congratulations. I think to not serve up the congratulations is a little petty, but I think that this is a lot of information for your relationship moving forward, especially since you're 24. You said she's in her late 40s. It's going to be interesting as you're really embarking on the next chapter of your relationship with your aunt, which is you in your 20s as an adult. This is even separate from your relationship. Up until now, you've probably been a high school student, college student, you're this younger figure, but now you're reaching a point where you're both adults and you're going to see a side of her as an adult that maybe never occurred to you as a child. But I think that maybe as like, if you were 14, that she would make that effort with you and not expect you to single her out. But now that you are both adults, it's like, oh, well, why didn't she come and talk to me? Why didn't she tell me she's
But why is when you, if you didn't tell me how old your aunt was, if we just started this and you said it's my aunt, I would have thought she was like 5 or 6 years older than you. Like
based on behavior.
The communication between the two of you is odd. And it doesn't really exist in a proper adult fashion. Like she, as a 48-year-old woman, should have said something instead of doing this whole like years-long passive-aggressive tap.
I agree, but I don't think focusing on that is, I don't think that this is relationship damaging material. And I think that I don't even think this is worth having a, hey, is there tension between us? I honestly don't even think it's one of those. I think it's just, you file this away, you recognize that this is what she likes in her dynamics with other people. She wants to feel special. She likes things her way. She wants to feel singled out. Then you can just do that moving forward and see whether or not that opens her up.
Well, I think that, look, you obviously have a very close relationship with your aunt. I think that in many, many families, telling an aunt about an engagement is not necessary.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't even, like, I invited my aunt to the wedding, but until then, I don't think she knew. No. It's like, oh, I guess Andy's getting married.
I love all my aunts, but there was no specific phone call.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm engaged.
Right. I didn't even, tell your dad that
until after you had done it. Yeah.
So you obviously have a very close relationship with your aunt, and I think that it's worth, working on this. As Charlene said, I think there's a communication issue here. It's not like there's some major problem. I don't think this is like a red flag or anything. I just think that it's worth possibly you just sitting down with her and being frank and being like, hey, I just want to tell you that, like, I feel what you feel, and I'm sorry. Maybe it's an I'm sorry if kind of I'm sorry. You could get away with that in this situation.
Oh, so you think that this is sit down conversation about it?
Why not? She's so close with her aunt. Why not just bury this? I think their relationship could blossom a little better after this conversation.
I mean, that's probably the more mature thing to do. I don't feel her aunt has acted so maturely, and so I sort of feel like this is data moving forward.
This is a good opportunity for you to take the high road and be the adult.
Okay, fair. It is very high road. It does feel very passive aggressive, the whole thing. Definitely not, like I said, relationship altering.
No,
I don't think it should be. I don't think you even think so. I also wonder, it is painful when you have a sister who's also gotten engaged, gotten married. She's giving her gifts. She's congratulating her, all this stuff. It's kind of like, WTF.
It was a huge difference in the two of our weddings, and we were so close in the time of our weddings. My wedding was 4 months after hers, so it was just very obvious, the difference.
Yeah. And I don't mean to put this on you at all when I say this. I just wonder if there are sides of their relationship that you don't overtly see. Like maybe she calls her aunt more often or does include her in these small ways. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I just wonder what else is going on, or if your aunt just really picks her favorites and it's totally inappropriate, because that's also possible.
Are you sure there's no other reason why this would have happened? Like, is there something she has against your husband, or there's nothing there?
Was she offended that he proposed a week before your sister's wedding?
That was another thing that's what I was maybe wondering, is she mad that he proposed the week before her wedding? But that wasn't my fault.
No.
I didn't tell him to do that.
No. You were just along for the ride.
My sister was a part of that proposal plan. I wasn't sure if it was because of the drama that happened during my sister's wedding that may have caused issues.
I will say, if it is because of the drama that happened at your sister's wedding, that is worth having the conversation over. Yeah. Because then you really weed it out. It's not just like, oh, I didn't come to you directly to tell you I was engaged. It really, then you can get to like the source of the problem. I do wonder how receptive her aunt is going to be.
I don't know. Maybe she'll really feel guilty about it. Maybe she'll warm up to it.
Is she conflict averse?
No, she's actually the person that whenever I have issues with my dad, I would go to her to talk about pretty much how should I handle this? What do you think I should do? She was the person I would really go to just because she knew my dad very well as well. So it just made sense for me to go to her. I know in the past when she's had issues with her son, my cousin, her son, they have gone to restaurants to sit down and discuss everything. So I don't think she would take it poorly if I had a sit down conversation with her. I actually had this conversation a little bit with my dad, and he said the same thing as you, Charlene. He said, well, she just might be the type of person that wants to feel singled out. So maybe you should have a conversation. I just didn't want to be the bigger person. So I haven't in the last 6 months.
Totally understandable. Okay,
That's
knowing
reasonable.
though that bit of history and how you know, she is someone you could have a sit down conversation about someone else with. I would like to think that she's also someone you could have a sit down conversation about her with, or about the two of you with. And that is going to provide you with a load of information. But even hearing that you would go and confide in her about some like tension you're having with your own father, I get the impression that she likes feeling important in your life.
Definitely. That was a perfect way to explain.
And you know, it's not totally a bad thing. Like it could be you could have a way worse aunt than that. If that's her most annoying trait, that she wants to feel important in your life and she wants to be there for you, then you know that it could be worse.
Yeah. I think this could be a growing opportunity for both of you.
Yeah.
And not that hard. The worst thing that's going to happen is she'll be like, oh, no, I don't, you know, she'll like cover it up and she won't open up to you about how she really feels.
Or maybe she'll feel a little ashamed and that she's being confronted.
But that's a good thing.
Yes.
She'll feel ashamed and you'll see that and then she'll have to come clean. So I don't see there being any real meaningful downside. I think you should have the conversation and you'll satiate your curiosity, which is always nice.
Right.
Kat, is that what you were expecting us to say?
Not really. I didn't think so. I was kind of thinking that you were going to say that she was crazy and that she was in the wrong, but I'm glad that you told me. I did definitely want to hear someone that's not involved in the situation and that does not know her, just because my parents are split, and hearing what my mom has to say is not great. And then hearing what my dad has to say, of course, he understands her. So I just wanted someone's outside perspective, and now hearing it back, it makes way more sense, and I can see where she would have been coming from. I'll figure out a time to talk to her.
Yes.
She just texted me asking if she could borrow my prom dress, so maybe in the exchange of that.
Ooh, nice.
Wait, your aunt asked if she could borrow your prom dress?
Her daughter wants it for her prom.
Okay.
I have a younger cousin who liked the dress that I used. So
Got it.
It sounds like a lovely family.
Yeah, it's cute.
yeah, no, we're
situation.
very close. I think just because I have other aunts that I'm also very close with, I didn't tell, and they did not do the same thing. They just gave me so much love and excitement, and then I didn't get that from her. I was just very shocked. So, but hearing all this, it makes sense.
Yeah. She wants to feel special. She's like, I'm not like the
definitely.
other aunts. I'm the cool aunt.
And then it probably didn't help that she wasn't invited to the wedding. So,
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. We forgot about that part. I can't believe that
She
came up.
wasn't invited to the wedding?
No, because she didn't invite family.
Oh, right. But family didn't get invited.
Yeah. I mean,
we're all family.
no one was invited.
No one
except
was
No
for-
invited.
family.
Yeah.
It's not just the aunt.
I know. You say aunt.
Aunt. I keep going between aunt and aunt.
I noticed.
I know aunt is wrong, and I know aunt is too formal, so I never know what to say.
I say aunt.
Ant? But an ant is a bug. It's an insect.
Wait,
Technically.
let's get it from Kat. How do you pronounce it?
I say aunt.
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone's wrong. But it's okay. It's one of those words you have to say wrong, otherwise you seem like a dick.
Okay, we will wrap there. Thank you so much for being a Shandy, and for to this day being one of the coolest recognizings
We
we've
will
ever
never
encountered.
forget. We will never forget
We will never
that day on
forget.
the mountaintop.
Yes, mountaintop. Thank you
Me
so
either.
much.
That was so crazy. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you
Yeah.
guys so much.
Have a great night. Bye.
You too. Bye.
I mean, that was a cute one.
Yeah. It's
It's
nice
cute.
to see her again.
Yes. And it was cute because I do think it is coming from a place of love.
Yeah.
And people show love in different ways. And some people are a little possessive. Some people are a little controlling. And I'm not saying that those are all okay, but I do think it is important to recognize where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And I suspect her aunt is like, I'm special.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And she has some poor communication skills.
Yes.
And they can be improved. And I think a conversation here can help both parties.
To be honest, I'm not even sure the conversation would be necessary if it weren't for the drama at the sister's wedding.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if it is about that, then there is a deeper root here that needs to be weeded out.
You don't want this simmering for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stupid.
And I maintain what I said about the adulthood thing.
Yeah.
She's now 24. Her aunt's 48. I'm not saying that they're in the same stage of life, but they are now entering this new chapter as family members. And it's, you start to notice behavioral things, sort of like as you get older. I think as you start to near 30, you start to see your parents as adults outside of being your parents.
Right.
You start to notice what makes them wonderful and also some flaws that maybe you didn't notice when you were younger.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that was an easy one.
That's easy.
Maybe we'll get an update from her and she'll be like, actually, she's crazy.
Yeah, we got into a fist fight.
Yeah.
She banged my head against the wall.
Yeah, and we'll be way off, but we'll see.
All right.
Okay. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify.
Podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.